And gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to AUSF1. I am your commentator for today, Ashton, and I am coming to you from the comfort of my home with some Tier 1 action here at Silverstone. Just realised I need to set up Racing League tools. But we'll get to that when the dead period in quali comes. Farmer Sam in the Aston Martin will be the first driver today to set a lap time. Sorry for the little bit of dead air, just trying to see if we can get a co-commentator to join late. Chances are low, but we'll see. But as you can see, Farmer Sam will be the first driver to set a lap time. Some nice, fresh, clean air ahead of him. He'll be making full use of that, as all the cars behind have had to battle with a little bit of traffic, but Farmer Sam absolutely flinging it through cops. Nice, easy, flat out in clean air in qualifying, but the second you get into some dirty air, that's where the trouble starts. But obviously in qualifying, nice clean air as Farmer Sam invalidates. Next driver to set a lap time will be a Viper, so let's go on board with him. His first race of the AUSF1 season after missing round 1. Coming down the hanger straight now, ready to throw it into Stowe. Barely touching, well, no, he did touch the brakes a fair bit, probably about 75%. Coming now to Vale, trying to hit this inside apex, but not too hard. Now right on the throttle through Club, and now to the line. It is a 26-1 from Viper. Now can the McLarens respond? It's Zox who goes P2. Sir Joshua 25-8 goes up to P1, bumping everyone down a position. Let's see what Campbell Adams has in the bag as we see Yusuf Syed go into position 1. We see Finns go up into position 5, Fraser Clegg, but Campbell Adams is the man we are watching as he navigates his way through Vale, now down to Club. He is in PSGL F3. He goes P2 though, just behind Yusuf on his banker. Let's find someone else on a lap. Websy has a lot of pace as he jumps up to P4. Let's see. Is there anyone else ahead of Apollo? No, Apollo will be the next driver to cross the line. Coming out of Stowe now, setting up the run into Vale, and now through Club. Right on the throttle through the exit of Vale, now flat out through Club, as he comes to the line. It is P11 to 27-138. The next driver to cross the line should be Lorenzbro, I believe. Unless it's Badgerman Cam out of him. He's probably a bit too far back to get the slipstream off that McLaren. I'm assuming of Zox to take across the line first, but easily could be Sir Joshy. But Badgerman Cam now coming through Stowe. Not much ERS left to work with his GLX Cam. Gets 5 place penalty for a collision with Fraser Clegg. Not ideal. Finns is in P7 as Cam gets disqualified from the session. He will be starting last. Badgerman Cam in the meantime up to position 10. Let's see Lorenzbro P16. The next driver to cross the line will be Joshua Lee, as we see Cam's stricken car on the right hand side. They should have some clean air. Hopefully these two boys get out of the way, which they do nicely. Now flinging it through Stowe, setting up Vale. Don't hit that sausage curb too hard. It unsettles the car, but Josh has taken a very nice line through there. Now a very good exit out of Club. What can Joshua Lee do? He can go up to P8 at 26.689 for the Kick Sauber reserve. as we now just await Farmer Sam, only driver to invalidate his first lap, to set lap number 2. I'll ride on board with him and I'll quickly set up the Racing League tools for Battlecat. We see Farmer Sam cross the line there. He goes P13. I'm not sure if he took conservative or if it was just not his best lap, but as Farmer Sam, bit of a spin. Fraser Clegg also retiring, not sure if that's GLX cam related or something else, but we'll go with Yusuf Syed as he is now on a lap, and we see the first bits of rain falling. It is a dry to wet qualifying session, it seems, and Yusuf is trying to get one last lap in, but that Farmer Sam invalidation really not doing him any favours. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see many improvements. We'll watch Yusuf go first, as I don't think he'll be losing too much grip. There'll be small amounts though, but what can Yusuf do, as there is a Aston Martin diving out of the way? That is Farmer Sam, of course, with Fraser Clegg being retired. But Yusuf coming through Maggots, Beckett's, and now through Chapel. He will need a good exit if he wants to improve, but he hasn't validated. So Yusuf's best time will be a 25.538. Can Campbell Adams find that 10th to go onto pole position? Is there anyone on a lap ahead of him? Yes, there is. We'll go with Sir Joshy, see what time he can find. But he is 7/10 down after the middle sector, so he definitely won't be improving. Can Campbell Adams do anything? Cam, realistically, you're not qualifying any higher than P19 anyways. I'm going to turn off telemetry so we can try to have a look at the delta. Does not look like it's there. We'll have a look at the top right hand of our screens. Campbell Adams is barely down. Can he improve? We will have a look as he probably misses that apex and he goes off track, invalidating. That is his qualifying session done. Viper has backed out. He was 1.5 seconds down through sector 1, so he will not continue on his lap. Oscar Piastri will not improve. He is in none. What can Globtrip do? He is also in none. He won't be doing anything. Apollo Pepsi seems to be the last driver on a lap, only a 10th off his time. So there seems to be an ounce of time in the track that drivers are able to find, but that Stowe Apexes just seem to elude all the drivers. They keep missing it, and the rain starts to pick up, and I think we won't see many more improvements. Lorenzbro is on a lap. We'll see what he can do, of course, but obviously there is not much else to do at the moment. Most, if not all, drivers cannot find any time, as Joshua Lee is on an outlap. Oh, is it a wet race, by the way, Cam? Or is it just wet quali? But like we see a flock of drivers retiring as there is no time. Oh, it's a wet race. A wet race is very, very interesting. I'm surprised drivers are not trying to get more practice out of this opportunity. But yeah, Lorenzbro coming to the line now. He's pretty much out of ERS, and he can't find any time. So this is going to end up being quite an important qualifying session, though, because a wet race, as we've been informed, as Meowsy says, it will take too long for the track to be wet enough. Park firm. Hang on, something I didn't catch to the end of that, but I mean, we'll ride on board with some of these drivers, but there's really no improvement available in this track, and I think we'll see a lot of drivers struggle for grip on these slick tyres. But I mean, there's no harm in trying, as Cam just wants some people to retire. Hurry this up, but Farmer Sam nonetheless is on a lap, and yeah, he might not improve on that one. Apollo Pepsi is about to start a hot lap as the rain keeps lashing down. I won't be shocked if we see someone do interlaps just to really wind the blokes up. But 4 minutes left in this qualifying session. Lorenzbro, KLX and Campbell Adams, the angle drivers, not on track. Two have not retired. Farmer Sam and Apollo both on track. Just maybe get a bit of practice in, or maybe put in a absolute blinder of a lap and gain 1 or 2 positions. But Farmer Sam really not finding much grip. Apollo has found a lot more than his farming counterpart as he now comes through down the back straight, and it looks like this track is just about ready for inters. The rain keeps pitter-pattering down as we see KLX retire. It is now just Lorenzbro, Campbell Adams, Apollo and Farmer Sam, but we will go with Apollo Pepsi now coming down the back straight towards turn 9, towards Cops. That flat out right-hander, can it still be flat out in the rain? Yes, it can. Apollo just about makes it work. I'm curious to see the delta on what this Red Bull's lap has, as Campbell Adams is on an out lap. Obviously, he thinks, oh, that is a big slide from Apollo Pepsi through Chapel, and he will not be improving. Farmer Sam, without a front wing, is just getting some heat into tyres on the grass. Careful not to get yourself a grid pen, Sam, as he's slamming on the brakes, locking up, and he gets to this and next lap in validation. But Apollo comes into the pits. I'm assuming we'll see him retire, but let's see what the fastest driver in the region realistically can do. He was a part of AUSF1's OFI winning team at AUSF1. So was Yusuf, so was Lebsy. So let's see what these drivers can do. I'll leak the TikTok account, Cam. I'll leak it, bro. But let's see what Campbell Adams can do on this wet track. Obviously, not much is what we're presuming, but let's have a look at what Campbell can do in the wet. But Campbell Adams retires with a minute left in qualifying, and we will now progress to a wet race. I think every piece of rain is just inters on this track, but I'm curious to see. But let's have a look at the incidents. Obviously, these are the main things, grid penalties, but just with the wet race, that we probably won't be restarting. But yes, as Cam said, a wet race. And let's have a look at what the default tire is. It's inches, so but we await the light to start to flicker. But what else is there to say? I'm assuming the whole grid will go inters, but 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. It is lights out and away we go. Pedal to the floor. AUSF has got a way better start than Campbell Adams behind Sir Josh, looking for the move as Websy and Viper go to battle. A lot of drivers underestimating the grip through turn 1 as they go off track. Oscar Piastri, it seems to be the largest off goer there. But as he gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting already. Wow. Let's have a look at the tyres. It is all intermediates as Broccolilli retires. Is that a on-track thing? I'm not sure. It looks like it is. But we continue on. AUSF leading from Campbell as he goes to, they go side by side. A little bit of rubbing as Campbell tries to force a move around the outside, but positions hold still as it allows Websy to close that gap back from 7/10. Sir Joshy also in danger of getting dropped as we see Badgerman Cam very close to the back of Fraser, but obviously no moves happening into Cops as Campbell Adams gets past AUSF as he now comes under threat from Websy. The three boys that represented AUSF1 in AUSF7 now leading the field P1, 2 and 3. We also do see Sir Joshy a little bit off the back. He'll be pushing to catch back up as Websy is really all over the back of AUSF. Looking for a move into Vale, just tucking in into the braking zone though, as I think it's very sketchy here already, and it'll be even sketchier now that there's water on the track as Campbell Adams a 145.526 for the first lap of the races. AUSF going a bit off track. Can we see a move here from Websy? He darts to the inside into turn 3 as gets it swapped, and that is a massive slide from AUSF. Got Sir Joshy looking to capitalise, but nothing he can do. Viper will be as well. Websy is now outside the second mark of Campbell Adams. Obviously, no not much meaning in the wet with how do you describe this, DRS, but it's just something to note as AUSF also starts to spread out as he could come under threat from Sir Joshi. Sir Joshi has to watch out from Viper and Fraser Clegg behind though, as they follow each other very, very closely through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. The trust they have in each other, that they won't just rear end the car in front, is impressive, but they all spread out as you approach the hangar straight now. The McLaren driver's looking very strong, P4 and 7 for the boys in Papaya, as Mozza runs it back with his 2 Aston Martin drivers from last season, this time in a different outfit, as we see Zox now starting to get swarmed by Kiefer Spondek, who has an amazing start to this race, up 8 positions from his P16 start. Campbell Adams a 40.9 as fastest lap of the race, as he starts to get Websey a little bit, showcasing why he's one of the most acclaimed drivers in the region. But for now, we'll try to find a battle. I think the best odds of something happening are Badgerman Cam and Farmer Sam, as he looks for the move on the exit of a loop now through Aintree, but nothing he can do. Farmer Sam getting the superior traction on the dry part of the track. Badgerman will obviously try to fight it as they both burn a bit of ERS, but nothing they can do. Keith Respondek as well. I said he had a mega start, but his pace in the wet looks immaculate compared to the dry. We'll see if this can continue on throughout the remaining 23 laps of this race, as the top 4 really start to spread out. Viper also dropping off from Sir Joshi a bit. Are we seeing these tyres start to wear just that tiny little bit? Seems like it's a very rear intensive track here, so with all the slippery loose traction zones that present themselves around Silverstone, normally intensified by the wet, as Keith nearly had an amazing run on Zox. He gets a bit sideways though, 7/10 up on his previous lap time, coming towards Stone now, not able to get the move done. However, Zox starting to feel the pressure of the Williams driver behind, as he looks for a move into Vale, going down the inside. Zox giving him the squeeze, but Keith sending it around the outside, and also Jerobot is not Jetman on the mark. Quite embarrassing, but Keith gets the move done, moving up into P7 as Zox falls back down into P8, and Keith Respondek's sights will now be on Fraser Clegg ahead, as he is starting to get bottled up behind Viper, as he forces a move around the outside of the loop, but no can do, trying to get the switchback done, but he's forced to suck in behind his green compatriot, as Viper now pulls down, burning quite a bit of battery, as Fraser sitting behind, just savouring every last percentage, as but what else is there to touch on during this part of the lap? Fraser Clegg is probably and Viper are probably the 2 closest drivers on track. Let's have a little flick at the position changes. Keith Respondek, the big gainer, up 9 positions. Fraser Clegg also up 6 after his 5-place group penalty, so making that back and a bit more. Farmer Sam up 4, Apollo up 3, KLX and Cam up 5. The big losers being Joshua Lee and Oscar Piastrigo after their offings at turn 1 on lap 1, but not much else to comment on in that department. Fraser Clegg now once again back looking at Viper as he tries to chip his way up into the top 5, but something these boys will have to remember is tyre wear. This can easily become a 2-stop race if you fire up the rears every single lap, so you've got to be careful with that wheel spin, as Campbell Adams sets the fastest lap of the race of 39.8, so this track is starting to dry. Whether we see a crossover is another question, as AUSF gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. I'm curious if he just went off at turn 1 or something else, but hopefully he can get that removed for his sake. But now Fraser Clegg looking to get the move back down on Viper as they approach Brooklands and Luffield. Brooklyn's first of the two corners, and Fraser Clegg nowhere near close enough to go for a move into there. Can we see Joshua Lee go for a move? Get to leader when possible. Alrighty. Just a little glance for you there, Seb. But Joshua Lee is in a very tight pack, headed by a Globdrip in the Mercedes, who seems to be a bit of a boat in not a very good way. As KLX now looking for a move down into Cops. Can he make it stick? Oh, he's gone for it. Jerabo. Oh, sorry for that little bit of lack of commentary as they still battle through Maggots. Now Beckett. And that is some stunning racing between the two to keep it contactless, keep all parts of their car intact, and for Globdrip to hold on to position 12 is a great culmination of racing there. But KLX is still going to be on his rear end as the GLX cam goes off the track. Can Joshua Lee get him around the outside into Vale? He gives him a little bit of a shove off the track, closing the door firmly as Joshua Lee started to creep up in the braking zone. Cam continues in P14 as Websy and Campbell Adams going side by side. So whether Websy has had a blinder of a lap and caught up. As he goes around the outside for entry, a very ballsy move in the wet, but Campbell Adams, I assume, will be looking to come right back, not just yet into Stowe, however. He will continue on in position 2 as he tries to fight his way back up into P1. Websy going very wide, Campbell having a look, but Websy will get the far better traction, one would assume, out of Luffield. Campbell Adams now relegated to position 2. We'll see. Can Fraser Clegg finally get this move done? No, he's starting to slip away. Is there anyone else within moving distance? Does not look like it. Logan could be looking at game past Joshua Lee as Yusuf gets 3 seconds from multiple warnings, so he's now up to 6 seconds of penalty, so that would put him all the way down into just inside the top 10. So really not an ideal race so far for the GOAT himself, but he will have to continue on. Hopefully he can get that first 3 second removed or turned into a warning. What can you do except wait and see? KLX once again looking at Globdrip, but it looks like Globdrip is having a massive ERS burn fest into Stowe as KLX unable to have a sure enough distance. He goes off track at exit. That could easily be a warning. Cam coming under pressure from Oscar Piastrigo and Joshua Lee behind, where that was Oscar Piastrigo turning defense into offense. I'm really not sure if anyone saw that. Speak up. But can we see any drivers improving on their lap times? It does not look like Websy was able to, as Campbell Adams now drops off a clip. So level Websy was saving tyres and is now able to burn, or Campbell just burnt his tyres and cooked them up way too quickly, pushing in the intermediate conditions. Really cannot tell at this stage in time, but Websy continues on in the lead. Now 2 second advantage over Campbell Adams, so Yusuf really hasn't lost that much time to Websy, so it seems like Campbell Adams has really fallen off a cliff in that RP and navigating his way through the middle of Sector 2. Now let's have a look at this Globdrip battle as it once again, I assume, will heat up into Stowe. Here comes KLX looking for that move down the inside. Once again, it seems like he's got a much better run though, but KLX just backing out. Seems like he did not have the balls that time to send the move on Globdrip, as Glob continues to defend expertly well from these drivers behind. Whether he has a dry setup on or not, he is still managing to keep that position 12 incredibly well, even at the expense of the drivers behind. But oh wow, Campbell Adams has really fallen off a cliff as we see them go nearly 3 wide as Cam gets past KLX. Oscar Piastrigo looking to pick up the crumbs, forcing his way around the outside of Stowe, but just not enough track for him to make it work. Now back down the inside of Vale. Can he make it work this time? As KLX doesn't give him all the room in the world, just enough though to keep it nice and clean as KLX holds on to P14. Keith Respondak has got a 3 second time penalty for corner cutting, and he's just going through turn 2 now, so whether he went off and got that penalty in a similar fashion to Yusuf Goat and Oscar Piastri Goat, I couldn't tell you. We're focusing on this battle for now, but look at this cliff Campbell Adams has fallen off of. He's in none currently, not using any ERS, and Yusuf is on about half, but Campbell has really fallen off a cliff. It is now 4 seconds to Websy 007 in the lead. Sir Joshi, Viper, Fraser, Clegg all here to pick up the pieces if anything goes incredibly wrong. So this battle for P2 has turned into what seems to be a pretty good one, as the Mercedes of Campbell Adams leads us ahead of Alpine, McLaren, Kick Sauber and Aston Martin. 7 different teams in the top 7, exactly what we like to see if you're a neutral. But Fraser, a 10th improvement. It seems like this track is starting to heat up as Campbell could just be starting to pull away a little bit again. Gave the boys behind a sniff of hope and is now just starting to pull away effortlessly as he has done so many times in the past. As we see Yusuf Syed jump into the pit lane, will he serve that 3-second penalty? We're about to see a 4/10 improvement on that lap, even though he came into the pit lane. So the track is definitely starting to dry as Yusuf takes the call to pit in for some new intermediate compounded tyres, and so does Logan behind. So these two looking to perform the undercut. Obviously a 2-stop could be on the cards from here, 9, 18 and then 27. So it seems like that's what these drivers could be aiming for, as we see some very steep tyre wear starting to creep into the RLT. On the left hand side, we see Yusuf all over the back of Lawrenceburg already on his old intermediates. Can he get the move done nice and quickly on this back marker Red Bull? We're about to see he's looking to burn. So my mic kind of just crashed out. Apologies for that. Yep, we are back. You get to hear my not so glorious voice. And as I predicted, or you didn't hear me, but Farmer Sam coming out in a similar position to Lawrence. But I think it was because I unplugged my headphones for a second because the cord just got very tangled. But we'll jump back up to this little lead battle. Campbell Adams pursuing Websy, now almost back within a second, but not much ERS to work with for the Mercedes. Sir Joshi, Viper, Fraser, Clegg, that group I'm assuming will stick together for most of the race behind, as Chief, who was trying to hound them in, now has developed a penalty, and we see some of these boys starting to stretch out. Zox in the McLaren getting 3 seconds for multiple time warnings once again on the exit of Sosa. It seems to be the exit of turn 1/turn 2 Cops and the exit of Stowe that is catching drivers out as the grip seems to change every single lap. These drivers' tyre wear are really starting to creep up now, and I think we'll see a lot of pit stops, and if anyone can get this to the end on a one-stopper, I will be quite shocked. yeah, so to answer your question, Campbell just Webster overtook Campbell because he was pushing like mad with battery. Then Campbell dropped back like 4 seconds to recharge, and then now he's back on the grind again. So whether he was saving tyres or saving battery, maybe a bit both, saving fuel, who knows? As Yusuf starts to feast on the back of this train. Really, not what he needed to be stuck in traffic, but it's like really all he can do with his new tyres, with his pace. He should be able to cut like through these butters like smooth butter, but I guess we are to wait and see as Campbell Adams finally in range of an overtake on Websy again. He won't go for it here. Probably could have sent a dive bomb if he wanted a 15 and 3, but Websy continues on. It is not a zero stop. Most of these drivers have about 50-60% tyre wear already, so it's definitely not a zero stop. Drivers will be stressing to make this one stop work. If T-Mac can do it, I'm completely and utterly shocked. But I don't see a single driver here with a tyre wear percentage of under 50 that has their telemetry on, like on the rears. So I don't think anyone is making this a zero stop. It'll be a one stop. And realistically, if you're trying to save enough tyres for this to be a zero stop, I think it's just worth making the one stop anyways. But Yusuf now on the back of Globtrip. He has his teammate ahead, so I'm assuming his teammate will get out of the way nice and quickly for him, as we might see an overtake here from Yusuf Syed, but he just chooses to sit back and wait, get him on the straight, use that superior traction that he has with the new intermediates. Now battery is back on, as he will now look to hand in Globtrip as he moves all the way to the left. Can he get him through the corners here? Oh, he takes a very, very slow line compared to Yusuf. Yusuf will look to get him around the outside. But yeah, I mean, a two-stop really doesn't seem like it's cooking if your name is Yusuf Syed. As he continues to be stuck behind his teammate here now, and this Mercedes, and through goes Yusuf on Cam. Can he get the move done on Globtrip? He's slowing down. Is he backing off? Seems like he backed off a little bit, but through goes Yusuf through cops, and he will now be on his merry way. Websy in the lead, coming into the pit lane from the lead. So is Sir Joshi, but the two blokes behind him are staying out. Keith, Zox both pitting. Zox probably not the best choice for him to pit this lap, but just reaching the halfway stage of the race now, as he gets held up by the double stack quite a bit, unfortunately for Zox. He is now onto his merry way though, continues on in P9. We'll see where Yusuf comes out, but keep in mind he's going to have probably a pit stop left, whereas everybody, and he goes off track, and that is now 9 seconds of penalties for Yusuf Goat. And I was going to say he is now probably forced onto a two-stop, assuming his tyres are cooked, and he is still behind Websy. 2 seconds behind Websy, so the gap has closed, but not by enough to make this two-stop worth it, as Websy now has some fresh tyres. But let's have a look. Campbell Adams is in the lead, now heading through Maggot, Beckett, and just about Chapel, kissing all these curves very nicely. As we see a spun Mercedes, that is Globtrip falling down the order. Reminder that he and GLX Cam yet to make a pit stop along with the entirety of the top 5, so all those boys definitely committing to the one stop, seeing if they can make that work, as it seems to be the fastest strategy on paper. It's just if you can get it to work on track with this extremely high tyre wear. But chicken butt. We see Globtrip have yet, or was that Cam? I think it was, have yet another massive slide, and there's yet another one. Surely we have to see these boys pit at the end of this lap, as we see Apollo Pepsi and Badgerman Cam dive to the right hand side of the pit lane wall to cop some nicely needed new tyres, as Cam and Globtrip battling, and Keith getting a very nice move on the both of them. Oscar Piastri also picking up another 3 seconds of penalties, as we see Globtrip Glob Drip stay out, GLX Cam dive into the pits. I would say that, I'll go as far to say that that is undoubtedly the right call. But these top 3 drivers have stayed out along with Glob Drip, along with Lorenzo. So they're trying to milk these tyres for as much as they can. And Viper is now officially in puncture range. So expect, wow, that rear left is nearly at 90%. So expect to see the Sauber in this lap to fit on some fresh tyres, as that rear left will be getting an absolute copping, a beating through the S's, one might say, with all these traction zones, with the left and right fast flowing with the left and right fast flowing corners. But surely we see these top 3 pit as Campbell Adams dives to the right hand side. So does a Viper and Fraser, but Fraser Clegg staying out. Fins. I'll tell you what, Mousy. Farmer Sam, who pitted with AUSF, or actually a lap later than AUSF, is at 30%. So Campbell is going to be absolutely cooking, but AUSF was going to make another pit stop anyways. But Fraser Clegg, now the only driver to have completed 14 laps. Surely we see Glob Trip come in this lap in a response to Cam, and yes we do. Do we see Lorenzo behind him respond and jump into the pit lane? Yes, we do. Just about time. Okay, let's pick up 3 seconds, but these boys will easily get the one stopper to the end. So will Fraser Clegg. His tyres are going to be absolutely shot. But as oh wow, no. To be fair, Fraser is a bit of a tyre-saving magician, but his tyres aren't even in puncture range yet. So Fraser is absolutely cooking. There's, unfortunately for Miazi and his fantasies, there's no way these tyres will get to the end from here. But unless he wants to drive about 5 laps with some punctured tyres. But Fraser Clegg, I'm assuming he's going to pit this lap as his rear left creeps closer and closer to that barrier where he can get a puncture, and the grace of his car is left up to RNG. But for now, it is Websy from AUSF, from Sir Joshi, from Campbell Adams, who has about 10 to 30% tyre offset depending on what lap you pitted on. So let's see what Campbell can do as you look at the amount of time he is gaining on Sir Joshi through the S's. We see Fins stay out yet another lap, so he's going to be running in puncture territory for this lap. But let's see what Campbell Adams can do. Some new tyres, a drying track. This next lap will be a fastest lap attempt, I'm assuming. Sir Joshi in front hopefully doesn't hinder that if you're a Mercedes supporter. But Campbell Adams now starting the 16th lap. These tyres will need to make it 11 laps home to the end. Viper behind him also looking good. He pitted on the same lap. Has come out a couple of seconds behind Sir Joshi. But Viper, I believe Sir Joshi was who he's with. But we'll watch that delta to Sir Joshi ahead, as Campbell Adams now should get Sir Joshi down the Wellington straight into Brooklands. A nice easy move for Campbell. Up 2 tenths for the second, a purple sector 1 for Campbell, as he now has his sights set on position 2 realistically. AUSF having 9 seconds of penalties in position 3. In fact, let's have a look. 9, 3, 3, 3, 3, 6, 6. But we see Sir Joshi already starting to slip away from Campbell. This is the delta to watch now, the one next to Viper's name. What is a 2-lap tyre offset like? As surely we see Fraser Clegg come into the pits 1 second off his best lap times, which are now long gone, as he finally dives into the pit lane, slamming on the brakes, trying not to get that 10-second penalty that is so easy to get here at Silverstone. Thankfully, so far, everyone has avoided it. But Fraser finally come into the pits, and he will have an utterly insane tyre offset. In fact, it will be a 7-lap tyre offset over AUSF side. So that is nearly a full stint on intermediates with one less pit stop as Campbell Adams of 36.1. Absolutely rapid pace. The next fastest lap of the race is a 36.9 by Viper, as he's gained around half a second on Sir Joshua this lap, so he could very well be on for a podium. As we see Finn's Fraser Clegg come out into P9, but he'll have a very good tyre offset to try to catch up to Zox ahead. Keith, Farmer Sam, probably the boys he's looking at, especially Farmer Sam, as we see on the leaderboard Campbell Adams get past Yusuf. But I think Yusuf was a lot further ahead, so that could be a Yusuf Goat mistake, could be him slowing down on purpose. No detriment to any others though. So let's see what what Yusuf can do. But yeah, already a second off Campbell Adams ahead. So this tyre offset really doing things, and Viper has already caught up. He could get a podium on track at this rate. So watch out for the Kick Sauber full-time driver coming through the field. But for now, we will relocate our focus to somewhere else. Keith looking for a move on Farmer Sam. Zox behind to clean up any pieces. Yusuf gets the 10-second penalty for speeding into pit lane. We could see him pit and quit as well. Oh, Keith and Farmer Sam getting very wobbly as Farmer Sam forces Keith off track. Both of these boys have 3-second penalties, and Fraser Clegg now coming through on the inside of Club Corner, and the Aston Martin driver gets ahead up into position 7. He will now chase down his teammate and Zox ahead. We see Zox get ahead of Farmer Sam there. As I just look away for 1 second, Zox gets the move done into Brooklands, and Viper has already jumped. Oh no, he was ahead of the both of them. I forgot it was Sir Joshy. He was behind. But Viper, now the driver to watch as he looks to hone in Sir Joshy. This is a raw battle. No time penalties involved just yet, as Viper looks to use this sequence of corners and his fresher tyres to catch up to Sir Joshy. But at the same time, there's only so much fresh tyres can do. You need the pace to be able to hone in this McLaren. Also, another look at penalties for the boys. Yusuf Goat not having many, 19 seconds. Joshua Lee in the other Sauber would currently get P10 as Campbell Adams of 36.1. He is really starting to hone in Websy. What can he do? Websy, is he saving up battery? Campbell's been burning quite hard though. Websy looking to defend this lead from the raging Mercedes behind of Campbell Adams, who has got far superior traction, already looking to get past Websy, but the tiny bit of dirty air you get through Aintree, I don't think helped him. It will not be into Brooklands this lap. So let's now have a look at Viper, not close enough to Sir Joshy. What can Fraser Clegg do on Zox as he practically pushes him through Aintree and now pulls to the left side? Partial go off the tyres, partial get the overtake done. Not fully ahead of Zox just yet, but he's able to get the move done. Up into P5 goes Fraser Clegg. Obviously would have been P5 provisionally, but now he has a 10-second gap to hone in to Viper ahead, and realistically as much of a tyre offset Fraser has, I don't see him doing that. Now the battle to watch, Campbell Adams and Viper. We got to keep one eye on each of them. The battle for first and the battle for third. Campbell Adams pulling to the right hand side to get the move done on Websy. He takes the lead. What can Viper do into Stowe? Not much. He just sits back, not using overtake. So Josh, he does have a bit more battery than Viper, and he will continue in fourth as he's got him very close into Vale, looking for the switchback on the run through the start-finish line down to Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. Can he do anything about it? No, he'll be extremely close for the Wellington Straight though, so let's see what Viper can do. Does he have the battery to work with to get the overtake done? We're about to see, as there is now 7 laps remaining in the Great British, or the British Grand Prix of AUSF1 Tier 1, as Felix Cam picks up a 3-second time penalty. Not ideal for him, as we now see a lot of penalties from probably about P6 downwards, as GLX and KLX boxes, whether that's a pit and quit or just boxing for some fresh tyres. Not entirely sure, but Campbell Adams already is second ahead of Websy in position 2. Sir Joshy and Viper, now the battle to watch. Actually, maybe it's Keith and Farm Sam. Let's have a look at this. If the Delta gets close ahead, though, we will jump to them, as Keith practically pushing Farmer Sam. He's looking down the inside. There's a little bit of contact. Was their front wing damage sustained by Keith through that corner? Doesn't look like it's impacting his confidence. Looking for a move around the outside of Cops. Not quite there yet, though, as Viper has really dropped off through the S's. Dirty Air must be an absolute killer, unless he's just started to save battery. It looks like he's done that a little bit. Keith Respondak, Badgerman Cam, and Farmer Sam all looking to squabble for P7. Keith, the only one of those 3 with a penalty, but every position helps him realistically. He should hold on to P9 no matter what. Unless he can get that penalty removed, it's never an awful shout to try to gain some positions, even when you've got a penalty. But we see Keith come into the pit lane to put on some new tyres. It looks like his tyres were just about to burst, so might not be the worst call, as we see a lot of drivers just start to get into that puncture territory. Farmer Sam is one of them. Do we see him try to nurse those tyres home to the end, or do we see him box to avoid the dreaded puncture? That is a storyline to follow. But Viper, once again, getting quite close to Sir Joshy down the Wellington Straight. Not close enough to get a move done, though. Can he do something into the old turn 1, into turn 9? Cops, what can Viper do? Does he have the battery to overtake Sir Joshy? Does he have the balls to send it into Cops? It doesn't look like he's gaining by enough to get the move done, though. And Dirty Air through this part of the track will just separate these cars out. And Sir Joshy's best defender at the moment seems to be Dirty Air. But we need to see, is a Viper saving up the battery? It looks like he is, but so is Sir Joshy. So now coming onto the Wellington Straight, what can a Viper do? Chasing down Sir Josh, he's gaining, but not enough. We now direct our attention to this battle. Badgerman Cam, Farmer Sam, and Apollo Pepsi. What can these 3 do? Apollo, the only one having a penalty, so Apollo's slotted right nicely into that space that Keith Respondek left when he pitted, obviously not wanting to risk the puncture. But Badgerman Cam now looking to get the P7 move done, as Farmer Sam pulls into the pits. I was talking about him being into puncture range. Really do not want to risk that puncture, and he's pinning into a bunch of penalties. So there's not a lot he needs to worry about. Probably a P. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out, actually. But it is now Badgerman Cam and Apollo Pepsi all on their own, so we'll come back to them as KLX picks up yet another time penalty, currently running in P16, and not a great... Oh, did Viper get past Joshy? Of course he did. But Viper, as Bouncy points out, I didn't even notice this. Viper jumps up into P3. Not much Sir Joshy can do on those older tyres. It looks like they could be really starting to hit a cliff now, as Sir Joshy's rear left reaches 76.5, which is about 15% worse off than Viper. So that tyre deficit working nicely for the Kick Sauber driver. Picks up at pick 10 in the draft. Campbell Adams obviously went pick 1, and I believe Websy went pick 3 or 4. So quite the diverse podium we're seeing. What else is there? We are seeing Badgerman Cam and AUSF1. I know you're in a voice chat helping out some of those Aston Martin boys, so what if I don't feel like it? But I do, because you're a great fella. What was I saying? I was saying, look at this battle. Zilla, I swear I saw you on a VC earlier. Yeah, you're still on a VC. With Logan, Farmer Sam and Finns. But there's your leader gap. But Apollo, Yusuf and Badgerman Cam now the battle to watch. Yusuf obviously not able to do much with those 19 seconds of penalties, but it's interesting to see how he can carve his way through the field. Keep in mind he was behind Alex Cam, so these ties working nicely for Yusuf. Still time to pull ahead of those boys with penalties at the back, so I'm sure Yusuf will try to savour every last position, but the two-stop definitely not the way for Yusuf. In fact, let's have a look at how many stops everyone has made. That's the wrong column, Ashton. Stops, you can see Yusuf the leader on the two stops. Keith, Farmer, Sam, KLX and Logan all also doing two stops. Adsverk is in tier 2. But Yusuf and Apollo battling through cops. Yusuf getting a nice and easy move there. Accidentally flicked telemetry on for a second. But we see it's that Joshua Lee causing the yellow flags as he sits in P10 currently. Let's have a look at penalties. So he would currently fall nicely into that P9 spot. Kat, you've missed Yusuf, Farmer Sam, KLX and Logan choosing the wrong strategy, doing the two-stop, and it's been a kind of processional race. But it's not too late for things to change. Could end up being a nice slow burner, and look how close Viper has got to the lead group now. Can he pull off the upset and get up into P2, maybe even P1? And keep in mind, Kat, that DNF was a retirement on lap 1 because Broccolelli was lagging like mad, like he retired through the menu. So it's been some incredibly clean racing so far, except Cam and Finn's little debacle in qualifying. But Viper gaining on both Websy and Campbell Adams, as none of these three looking to save up battery. Fraser, Clegg, Finn's also looking to catch up 3 seconds. He was 9 seconds behind Viper, remember that. So these boys were really starting to bunch people up. But Viper now within a second of Websy nearly within a second of Campbell Adams. So let's see, what can Viper do anything, or will this be another Serge Rossi situation where it takes a couple laps for him to chip past? We are yet to see, and folks, this turned into quite the slow burner, so don't flick off this stream just yet, as Logan. Miaz, to answer your question, I've got no idea. None of them have telemetry on. Actually, Viper does. And Viper is in puncture territory. Sir Joshy pitting, obviously not wanting to risk the puncture there. So he just takes the... he is taking the safe option. But Viper, and I'm assuming Websy and Campbell Adams, risking it all for the biscuit. They're fully in puncture range, so we could see one of these boys get a puncture any second now, as we start to see a lot of jumbling through the order as people are scared to make that plunge and into puncture territory, taking the pit option as Joshua Lee, but 10-second penalty speeding in the pit lanes for Joshua Lee. Not great for him. But Viper, Websy and Campbell Adams are now trying to nurse their tyres home to the end. They've got a large gap back to Yusuf Goat. So if they get a puncture on the last lap, they might be able to nurse it home Lewis Hamilton style. But let's say Campbell Adams, Websy and Viper and Finn's all still in with a shout of winning this race as we now approach the final lap. Who's got the most battery out of all of them? I'd probably say it's Finn's or Fraser, Finn's or Viper, but as they battle side by side, Viper getting overtaken by Finn's quite easily. What can Finn's do? He's the only driver probably able to push on those relatively fresh intermediate tyres compared to everyone else's. Viper pits, he's not taking the risk. He's not risking the punctures. He was on... What was he on? I'm trying to find out for you guys. 89% on the rear left. Did Viper get a puncture? Oh, that is not ideal for Viper. It said he was 89.4% on the rear left, so I'm assuming that'll be 100. No, it does look like a puncture. So Viper getting the puncture, he still holds position 4 though, and it will become position 4 with use of spillion seconds of penalties. But now it is Fraser Clegg trying to get the moves done on Websy and Campbell Adams. Websy, about to lose out to Viper as Finns, as Finns looks around the outside of Brooklyn's not able to do much now through Luffield, trying to get the traction on exit. He has way more battery than the two drivers ahead. He's trying to get into second, hoping for a puncture for one of these two drivers, but how well have they been managing their tyres? Do we see Lewis Hamilton 2020 all over again? And look at that run Finns has been able to get on this excellent one-stop strategy, going through Maggots and Beckett side by side, able to get up into P2, overtaking Websy. Now 8/10 to get in about 2-3 corners, for about 4 corners for Fraser Clegg. Can he do it? He's already gained a tenth of a second. Campbell Adams absolutely has rinsed his battery. What can Fraser do into Vale? Look at how much he is gaining. Can he get Campbell Adams at the line? Can Campbell get a puncture? What can Finns do? It's starting to slip out of his hands. Campbell Adams looking like he has this in the bag as he comes through the final corner. Campbell Adams crosses the line first. He takes P1, Fraser Clegg P2, Websy in P3. And now wow, kind of anticlimactic, but we've got a very long wait for USF back in P4, and he has 19 seconds of penalties to boot, so he will fall a large ways down the field. 30 seconds, or it'll be close between him and Farmer Sam, but Viper will take home P4, Badgerman Cam P5, Sir Joshy P6, Apollo P7, it'll be Keith Respondic in P9, Farmer Sam P8. As we see Zox get a puncture, I believe, coming across the line. But that is pretty much your final order. Lorenzbro gets up into P16, not for points though. So, those are your points finishes for today. And wow, it was quite the slow burner, and I think that probably deserves interviews. But that was quite the race. Campbell Adams taking home the win. We now await our drivers to join the podium interviews box. But yeah, I mean, very, very strategy heavy race. Obviously some great racing as well, with pretty much no DNFs apart from that on track one at the start of the race from Brooker Lily. But we now just wait Websy so we can kick things off, or we can... I'll give Websy a minute. Would be nice to have a co-commentator to bounce to, but unfortunately we don't. Alrighty, we'll kick things off with our P2 finisher, Finns. So, when you're ready, Finns?
I am.
Alrighty, so obviously a great race from you today. Can you, first thing, that qualifying incident, we didn't get that on stream, so can you talk us through what happened there?
Well, yeah, I was on, it started raining and, yeah, Cam came flying across the grass to my right and I was looking down at my wheel, and when I looked up, he had come from the grass onto the track and was sitting in the middle of the track after cutting the track, and yeah, I couldn't avoid him. And it gave me a 5-place grid penalty, which is nice. So, yeah, I knew it'd be slow and quality because I was running a lot more wing than I wanted to, considering the wet race that was going to happen. And yeah, P7, I would have liked that. P12, it wasn't that bad. I know I'm better in the wet than I am in the dry on this game. So, yeah, lap 1 was fun, going from 12th to either 6th or 7th. I can't remember what it was. And yeah, after that, I was a bit dumb in the first 3 laps. I spent so much tyre and energy trying to get past Viper, and then yeah, I basically gave up on that and just started doing tyre saving, because on this game, once the dry line forms, your tyres, or at least the inters, just absolutely shred. So yeah, I was thinking long. I let them break away. I accidentally underfueled the car, so I was lifting and coasting and going slow through all of the high speed on that first stint just so I could go long, and yeah, managed to go 2 laps longer than anybody and make it to lap 16, and had about 80% tyre, where I thought about going lap 7 and lap 17, but then yeah, I'd saved enough fuel. I'd got to the point where I could push flat out for that whole last stint nearly. I don't know why, but I sort of didn't push that hard in the first few laps while I got past those 3 cars in front of me. And then yeah, once I had the 10-second gap to Viper and Joshy, I knew I was better at saving the tyres than them, and I knew that they'd done a few more, so it was about bringing that gap down quickly while also sort of saving the tyres, because if you push too hard, you nearly put them at 10% a lap. So yeah, it's all about a balance of pace and tyre saving. And yeah, I looked at my timing and realised I was gaining 2.5 seconds lap on them, but it wasn't until about 7 laps to go where I realised I was also gaining about 3 seconds a lap on Websy and Campbell. And yeah, started going flat out from there because I had the tyres, and yeah, was gaining 3 seconds a lap. Got past Joshy quickly and easily, and then Viper got a puncture just as I caught up to him, which was nice. And then yeah, last lap right behind Websy and Campbell, I knew I had the really good tyres, but I knew that they would have been saving theirs a little bit for that scenario, and yeah, it looks like they had a bit more tyre at the end than I thought they did. tried going around the outside of Websy at the end of the hanger straight, which was not the best call. I really shouldn't have. And yeah, in the end, yeah, good job to them. Got past Websy at least, but yeah, would have loved the win. But anyway, good race.
Yeah, so you said you underfueled the car. Do you know how much you underfueled it by? Oh, he muted. Okay. But thank you for that, Finns. We will move on to our race winner, Campbell, as it seems that our dear friend Websy will not be joining us tonight. So, Campbell, firstly, congratulations on your race win. My first point of interest from you in the race was you had the lead, but then you lost it to Websy, and then you dropped about 4 seconds off him. Can you talk us through what happened there?
Well, that first stint was just all about tyre saving, and Websy was pushing, I think, for most of that stint, if not all. And I quickly realised that there was no way I was going to make a one-stop work if I kept pushing the way I was. So I was driving about 2-3 seconds off the pace as soon as Websy got past. I made the mistake. I already had started tyre saving a little bit, and then I made the mistake, and then I just went into deep tyre conservation mode, and then coming into the pits at the end of my first stint, I got a puncture and I lost about 6, maybe a bit more seconds. I literally just hit 80%, and then it popped, so that wasn't ideal. And then that was the reason, I guess.
Yeah, so additionally, you ended up coming out behind Websy. Was that an easy overtake to make, or did he put up just a stern battle for you that made it harder, I guess?
In the second stint?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, it was, I think he knew that I was pushing a bit more than he was, and I obviously had maybe a little bit more pace and a bit better tyres as well, which helped. So he just didn't really put up a fight. And then I quickly realised that, well, I think I had about a 12-second gap to – no, not quite, about 10-second gap to him when I came out of the pits. So I was pushing very hard to catch him. And then I pushed too hard, and then I was in risk of puncture. So that whole race was just pushing and then managing. So it was not the greatest race because you couldn't really push at all that race.
Yeah, I mean, would you be more confident if it was a dry race, or were you prepared for the wet?
Well, I'm fine in both conditions. I think dry for me would have been a little bit better. I mean, I had no prep at all for this race, so honestly, I thought the wet saved me, but then I quickly realised that it was just about saving tyres. So that kind of, I guess, I mean, everyone was in the same boat, to be fair, but I guess the lack of practice of it just threw me off a little bit.
So you've now gone 2 for 2 in the first 2 races of the season. It's Bahrain up next. How confident are you feeling for that?
Bahrain is probably one of my stronger tracks in this game, so I should be all right there, hopefully.
Yeah, so once again, congratulations on your win. Is there anything else you kind of want to say, or?
GG's to everyone. It was a good race. I mean, it was very close at the end. Viper was obviously unlucky getting a puncture on 73% or whatever it was. So, GG's to everyone.
Yeah, once again, congratulations to both Campbell, Finns and Websy, who unfortunately was unable to join us tonight. But we will see you this time tomorrow for some more racing, this time from Tier 2 around Great Britain. So make sure to tune in for that, assuming it's streamed, which it should be. But once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all the admins who put in the work behind the scenes. I have been Ashton, and thank you once again for tuning in, and have a good night.